Today on Focus on Health, we're with the man himself, Mr. Job Wako.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being on Focus on Health.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So
we have been talking about organ donation, and you are the founder of Organ Transplant Kenya.
Transplant Education.
Transplant Education Kenya.
Yes.
And it's all about educating people.
It is about transplantation and organ donation. Yes.
And then that just makes me ask you, how was your life growing up? Of course, after you got to realize that you really needed a transplant.
Yes. So in 2015, I found out that I have kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, stage 5. I was put on dialysis, and looking for a transplant was very hectic. So I decided that I need to do something about it, to educate people about the processes that we go through and how difficult it can be. Yes, so that was the beginning of Transplant Education Kenya.
And it has been 3 or 4 years?
It's been 1 year. It was registered in 2017.
2017.
Yes,
But this is something which you've been always toying on, like this is something that you've always been thinking about.
Yeah. Once I went through kidney failure, it was something that was very prominent, and I decided that I have to do something about it. Yes.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Health Focus. This is our bench.
It's very
Karibu
nice.
sana.
I like it.
Thank you very much.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah. So as we were coming up, you were telling me about your story.
Yes.
And you getting to know that you needed a transplant. How was it for you?
Well, it was very sudden. You know, I had been working for about 2 years. I was in the States at the time. And all of a sudden I started feeling sick, waking up with my face swollen, not sure what's going on. I go to a nurse practitioner, she tells me it's ulcers and gives me medication. And when I take that medication, my feet start swelling and put on weight. I thought I was growing fat. So I told, let me try another doctor at a bigger hospital in another city. Go there, and I was told that I'm in stage 5 kidney disease. You know, that's end stage.
Wow.
And the next day I was put on dialysis. So that was how I found out about kidney disease and kidney failure.
That must have been really heartbreaking for you, if I may call that it. Because today you think you're okay, and then the next day somebody is telling you that Job, you're having kidney failure and you're supposed to be put on dialysis.
Yeah, there are no ones that can explain it. When I first found out, the world, like that room just stopped. You know, doctors were walking in, and family there, and it was just overwhelming. You know, to be told that your kidneys are gone and are gone for good, and now you need to do something called dialysis, like 3 times a week for 4 hours. That's 12 hours a week. It was more than heartbreaking. It actually just stops your whole life, like your world stops. Yes.
And then how did that really affect your work? Did you stop work? And because now this is something that you will be doing every week,
Yes.
around 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, so I was given some time off, but then my work schedule had to change. So I used to be permanent. That means that you work full time and you're on salary. But in the States now, there's hourly. So I was put on hourly so that I'm paid for the hours I'm done. But then that gave me flexibility to do dialysis, because now dialysis I used to do it from 3 p.m. to 7. So I could leave work early on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But then the other days I used to work 8 to 5. But then on Monday, I used to go now from 8 to 3. Yes, and then I'll go for dialysis.
And then at what point did you now decide that you really need to come back to Kenya, and what really prompted you now to come back? Yeah.
Well, so my sister had wanted to donate to me in the States. And so she comes, and we start doing all the tests. But doing a transplant in the States is very expensive. You know, so we had started the process, and they found out that she had latent TB at the time, and they're not sure if they could do it because you have to be treated for that. So at that moment, we decided that instead of wasting time there, because they wanted to treat her for TB for about 9 months, we decided that we're going to come back to Kenya because the people here know more about TB, and we ended up going to India because India had the expertise that we're looking for, and that's why I had the transplant in India.
India.
Yes.
So you went to India, and then from the States you went directly to India, or you came back to Kenya and then you went to India?
Came back to India for about 2 months and went to India. Yes.
And then after doing the transplantation, now you came back into the country?
Yes.
And that is where your journey of educating people on transplant came in?
Yes, so once I came back from India, it was December of 2016, January 2017, and that's when I realized that a lot of people who do transplants don't talk about them.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, oh, go back to your life as usual. Just don't tell anyone unless they ask, unless they know you. So I felt that it was necessary to talk about it because the experience has been life-changing, to say the least. When someone gets out of their way, your donor, their life stops for you to actually get your life back. So even when I was talking to the donor previously, he said that that whole year he was with his recipient, and that's how dedicated donors tend to be. And that is something. It's a story in itself, It's something that, it's something that it makes you very emotional to find out that someone is willing to risk their life for you to get your life back. Yes.
And for your case, who really donated the organ for you? Was it your sister? Eh?
Yes. So my sister, my older sister, Nerima, she donated her kidney to me. And actually, from the onset, when she found out that I was sick, she told me that she was willing to donate. If everything turned out well, which there are a lot of tests, going for a transplant. She told me that she was ready to donate, and that turned out to be the case. We matched after all those tests, and she donated to me. Yes.
So tell us about your organization that you started last year. What are you really aiming for, or what is really the focus of the organization?
So the focus of the organization is to ensure that altruistic donation is available, which means that someone who doesn't know you, because in Kenya it's mostly relatives. So we want to make transplants more affordable, like make them an option for everyone in need of one in Kenya, so for all Kenyans to have it as an option. And then we want to also make sure that we can have altruistic donation. So we want to find out where the law is, find out the policy makers, find the doctors, find all these people who are in this space, tell them, hey, we're the patients, yes, but we're also powerful. We have our own power. We can push for these changes to occur in the country so that we can have altruistic donation and do not have to wait for a donor or someone to tell you, hey, I'll donate to you. Yes.
Right now, the statistics in the country are really heartbreaking. That and this is something which is it is not a secluded case in that very many people are going through this, and that is why you're now pushing for it. How far are you?
Okay. So you're right, there are a lot of people who have organ kidney failure or have kidney disease. Actually, there are about 3,000 people on dialysis right now. So we are in the phase of raising awareness because a lot of people don't know. If you don't have a family member or a friend or someone close to you who's gone through this, you won't know what it's like to live on dialysis or even to have a transplant because there are issues post-transplant we face. And so our main campaign this year is to have organ donation, like the whole hashtag. We have a hashtag on social media where we're pushing that kind of awareness. So our campaign this year is to raise awareness. Yes.
To raise awareness. What about in terms of legislation? There was a legislation which was passed, I think, in early 2000 on organ donation.
Yes.
Has it come into effect?
From what I've heard, it's been passed, but then it's not really been implemented. And so that's where the challenge is, implementing it. So that's what we want to push eventually, but then first we need to educate people about it. Most people don't even know what organ donation is. And when they do, they think they can sell their organs, which is, you cannot sell an organ. So we need to teach people it's something that you do willingly. It's altruistic. You give, not expecting to get back. But then this is more now cadaveric when you die, you see. So education is our first step, and then we'll build it up to the policies and all those things later.
And as Job and also as the founder of this organization on educating people on organ, what do you think is the biggest problem that we are facing as a country and also as a region? Because in other jurisdiction, we see that this is something which is happening. It is something which is happening. But in Africa, in Kenya, this is not something which is happening.
Yeah. So I'd say it's lack of information. Because once you've gone through it and you talk about it, when I talk about it with my friends or even family, extended family, a lot of people still don't really know much about organ donation and transplantation. So I'd say that it's that lack of information and kind of ignorance, because we have a lot of myths and misconceptions about organ donation and transplantation. So that's a big hindrance, because if you don't need it, then you don't know more. You don't know about it. You're not going to find out, or you're not going to look for it. So we're kind of bringing the conversation to the fore, where now people are like, hey, what's organ donation? What's that? So that it can be at least in their mind, in the periphery, and they can understand, hey, this is important to someone who's gone through it. Yes.
And also people maybe do not know about the organs that somebody's like, if I give my organ, then I'm going to die. But you are living with one kidney,
Yes.
and your bigger sister, of course, is living with one kidney,
Yes.
and you guys are doing fine.
Yes.
What will you tell somebody who is like, I can't do that?
Well, I will tell them it's possible, because there's some organs that you can transplant when you're alive. So, for example, you can give one kidney. If the tests turn out well, you have to be very healthy. You can't just decide to give. You know, as the doctor said, there's some pre-existing conditions that you're not allowed to donate, like hypertension, or if you're diabetic, you can't donate. But then, if you pass all those tests, you can actually give a kidney. You can give part of your liver. There are ways. But so I would tell them, find out about it, you know. Find people who are experts and know about it before you can actually sign up or decide you want to be a donor. Yeah.
So far, the organization, how do you run your day-to-day activities? Do you have donors, or are you looking for donors to at least maybe push your agenda and bring it to the fore?
Yeah, so we have well-wishers right now, because it's still a very young organization, and people do not understand what we are pushing. You know, they don't understand our mission and our vision to actually make altruistic donation available to everyone in need of one. So the thing we survive on is well-wishers, you know, family, friends, people who have actually gone through it and see the need that we're fulfilling. But then this year we're putting structures in place so that we can have altruistic donation. I mean, we can have other donors who want to donate. Yeah, so we mostly work on people who are well-wishers, but then hopefully we'll get donors. We're writing proposals. We're in the process of building our organization. Yes.
The organization, is it really made up of people who are just people who've gone through this, like you are a survivor of this, or there are also people who have not gone through this as part of the big organization?
Yeah, so we ideally have people who've gone through this so that we can be ambassadors ourselves, because I believe we're ambassadors of organ donation and transplantation. But then we have volunteers and people who are just so touched by the cause who can actually come and plug in and help. So I'll say it's both. It's anyone who is willing and who has time who can come and plug into transplant education. Yes.
Any other thing that you can be able to tell people out there who do not know about organ donation? Where can they find you on social media? On how can they reach out to you?
Okay,
you can use that camera.
So we are on Facebook and Twitter mostly, but we want to join Instagram and YouTube. So if you want to reach out to us, go through Facebook. Facebook is our main platform that we use. So if you type Transplant Education Kenya, you will find us. Follow us and send us a message if you need help, because we advise people who've gone through organ failure or dialysis, especially, on how to pursue a transplant. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Job. It was really a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you very much, our viewers back at home. That's all the time we had for you, and it has been really an eye-opening conversation talking with Joab here. And we're going to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. Mercy, so that she can just be able to shed more light on the transplantation going on in the country and also in the region.